In this episode of the RV Small Talk podcast, we find out we discuss, we figure out the real cost of going on a trip, maybe a weekend trip with yourself, your spouse, your friend, your kids, your dogs. We're going to try to break down what it really costs to go enjoy the RVing and camping that you love.
Very good. I can't wait.
Welcome to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about lightweight trailers, truck campers, and people, places, and adventures that go right along with them. We are your hosts from Princess Craft RV in Round Rock and now in Houston. I'm Clint.
I'm PJ.
And I need coffee.
It's true. Someone give her more caffeine and wire her more. Thank you very much. So let's get a little small talk in before we talk about other small talkish stuff.
Ooh, can we small talk about the Cortez camper that showed up today?
It's so cute. I want to talk about it more, but I haven't seen inside of it yet.
Yeah, it was locked when I did a good once around, but I couldn't do it once.
Well, you can't not do a once around when you see this cute little
Would you say the Cortez is like a conquistador? It conquers your heart?
I don't know, because I haven't been inside either. We have been busy working and we don't have the keys. So someone has the keys. We will see inside of it. But the outside it's like...
Give us a word picture.
It is like the Easter egg that people took a little extra time with because it's turquoise on the bottom and white on the top. Right next to the barefoot, that's a Easter egg that I would do, which is all one color.
Oh, okay. So this one's stylish because it's half dunked.
It's half dunked.
I think the Cortez looks like an anti-depression pill.
What?
Okay.
Doesn't it?
Okay.
How do you know what an anti-depression pill looks like, Lindsay?
I was going to say a pill, but then I thought I'd throw in anti-depression because it's a camper. So like it makes you happy.
Yes.
Yeah, y'all are, that was too far. That was too far.
No. Too far.
You know what? Sometimes there's a joke and it completely loses itself in the explanation. Your explanation actually made it. You landed that one. Well done.
I get my wins where I can.
Yeah. So here it is. It's an all fiberglass camper in the vein of an Oliver or a Casita or a Scamp or along those lines. But I think this one has a little something. It has a little inflection upon it.
A little flair.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have seen the inside through videos and pictures.
Yes.
I can't wait to see it in person because I've been in those others. And I think I'm going to be just excited for where they're going with this thing.
Well, I just want to park it right next to the barefoot all the time because those two little fiberglass eggs next to each other just warms my heart.
They're like
just
cousins.
Don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I just think it's awesome. So I feel very special.
I'm sure we're going to be doing a video on it soon, right?
Do we do that sort of thing?
Video?
Oh,
yeah, we do.
Shot. First time for everything.
That's right.
Okay, so do you two have plans to go camping? Because I have been twice already this year. What are you two doing? I'm like getting your allotment in.
Yeah, Clint
you're
is
right.
beating our
You are
butts.
right. All right. Well,
I started to plan a trip and then I stopped.
I keep on sending you like links on how look here for sites. Look there for sites. I try to get you camping buddies and you won't go.
You sent me one.
Twice.
You sent me the same one twice.
that doesn't count. I think we have the same problem that everybody does. You know, you plan on it, but until you sit down and pick the date, make the reservation, plan the excursion, set it in stone, it's always this, I'll get to it. And it's hard. It's hard to get it done.
You got to prioritize it, PJ.
I know.
It's baseball season. I'm not going camping for another few months.
Camp at the baseball field. They have a parking lot.
It's at a school. You get arrested for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't camp at a school.
I'm gonna throw it out there again for those who are listening. I'm sure your states have something like this, but certain because it's on Reserve America that it does this. Texas state parks have a link on their Reserve America webpage that says camp this weekend, and if you click it, it shows you everything that's available in every state park in Texas. So I think every state will have this that's still open. So you just say, oh, which one's closest to me?
That's really cool.
Yes, and
Will you send me that link
for a third time. You
for the
got
third
it.
time.
And that is for the last minute camping, even if you go for one night, because let's say your kid has baseball practice. Then you can just go for one night.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, you can.
Well, let me say this.
I'm out.
If it's under 50 miles away, I will consider a one-nighter. If it's over 50 miles away, I need at least 2 nights. If it's a day's drive away, I need 3 nights minimum. That's how
I think that's fair.
He's got some rules.
I think that's fair. Yeah, well, he likes rules.
Well, the deal is I don't think about it. It just, when I'm looking at sites, I'm like, nah, this is 2 nights. As I'm talking to you on the mics, I'm working it out. Oh, that's kind of how it plays out with me.
Well, my famous saying is nobody wins a prize for driving the farthest. So even if it's 5 miles down the road, nobody cares.
PJ, you don't go.
You're in
and
a
guess what's
campsite.
5 miles away from your house?
Yes, and I do go.
Well, go.
But
this year.
I haven't been there
this year
yet. Okay, I will go. All right, check in with me next week at the podcast. I will have some plans.
Okay. Well, while we're talking about RVing, there's a lot of talk about RV. No.
That is what we talk about
It
here.
is, in a small way. So, what about the costs of doing a quick 2, 3, or 4 night trip? And we can kind of compare. Now, obviously, this is not going to be comparing to full-timers. That's a different way of thinking altogether.
Oh, yeah. We did a great podcast on that, actually.
Yeah. So we can bring that back. I'll maybe find out what number that is. But
yeah. Check the notes. But we need to talk about weekends.
Yeah. Our weekend warriors, or I've got a long weekend sort of scenario. It could just be you. It could be a small family or a group of friends, or just 20 dogs and you, or something like that.
20 dogs?
Yeah. You might actually.
I need a bigger camper.
You might be running a dog sled team. I don't know. In summer.
There's not 20 on a dog sled team.
There isn't. But maybe it's a team of dog sled teams.
A couple of dog sled teams.
How many dogs are on a dog sled team?
I have no idea. I live in the wrong part of the world.
How do you know it's not 20?
That would be one heck of a dog sled team.
Caitlin, how many dogs are on a dog sled team?
Tell me now.
Okay, we'll let you know momentarily. Right now, let's say you want to go camping for 3 or 4 days and you think, let's just fly there, get a hotel room, just make it easy. It doesn't cost that much.
So that's not camping at all.
What's the comparison?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're talking about?
Yeah. So
what's the comparison?
So maybe this is maybe a tinge of this conversation will be about the value of it, because we've had podcasts on what camping does for you. So we know there's psychological and emotional effects here, but we're just talking from a numbers standpoint. There's some value here.
I want to talk about cash. Let's talk money.
I had a friend named Cash growing up.
Did you?
Never.
I think it's a great name.
His name was actually Cashel.
Oh, that's not a great name.
But everyone called him Cash.
Well, of course. Okay.
All right. So the big 3 that everyone talks about is obviously the gas, the food, and the reservations. Any mix of those things. I mean, the food can give you gas. The price of reservations can give you. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get those out of the way, and then we can kind of kick around some of the other things that we might not have thought of.
Okay.
So,
what would you say the average cost of a campsite is?
Well, that's a good one. What do y'all think?
I don't know.
Like
35-ish?
Yeah, I'd say like 30.
Okay.
But then some places you get into more of a metropolitan area. It can be 50, 60.
It could just be a hot location like Florida. Florida has higher on average.
Right.
Because people are vacationing there year round.
And it depends on the amenities, whether you get a full hookup or whether you get something that, like a state park maybe has electric and water, and then a dump station.
Right, exactly.
So I think somewhere between 35 and 50 a night is fair.
I think that's kind of average when you're staying at the state park and national park kind of scenarios. I know that I get away with $15 to $20 a night because I have a Texas State Parks Pass, and most states will have something along those lines. So that's pretty good considering what a hotel would cost for, let's say, one person a night. What are you thinking average is? Let's say average hotel cost, not your dive hotel kind of thing.
Well, again, it's hard to say because it depends on where you are.
Yeah, but I would say average 120, 150 a night, maybe for one person.
I think so. I just got a hotel room in Cincinnati, which...
CINCINNATI, Cincinnati, the best town in Ohio, USA. At first they called it Cincy, but then Cincy was too natty. They named it Cincinnati, so they say. Go ahead.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
I knew that would happen, so I was just getting it out of the way. Yes, because my kids watched the movie Toy. What is it? Babes in Toyland or something.
Gosh, that's an old one.
Yes,
Baby Keanu Reeves and baby Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
and they sing Cincinnati song.
Okay.
So anyway, but it was $150 a night. It's a DoubleTree downtown.
That's
I don't know.
run-of-the-mill
Looks
situation.
kind of like average at $150. You know, I get worried if a hotel is $100 or less.
Understandable.
I get a little worried.
I've been in some budget situations in some Houston type cities. Named Houston, and they were rough.
And it's a little scary, but then it's not uncommon for a hotel in a vacationing spot to be $200 or more.
Right.
So I would say if we budgeted at $150, that would be probably best case scenario for any place you would go for a getaway adventure.
Right. And you want to be comfortable and be safe and all that. Now, granted, if you go for the upper tier of RV resorts, with all the amenities and, things for the kids to do, shows, a lot of stuff to do. Those may be running at the $150 a night as well. But that's an RV resort. Some of them have full-on water parks.
Well, that's different because that's kind of the price of admission all along with the camping fee.
Yeah.
Let's just talk general camping.
General camping,
$150 a night. Hotel room
versus
you go for 3 nights, 4 days, 3 nights. That's what, $450?
Yeah.
So that's not bad.
Not bad for hotel camping, but if we're looking at, let's say 150 versus some ballpark of 150 for the same nights and a general camping situation, that's nice. Not too bad. Okay, so what about the gas situation, the fuel situation, because it might be diesel as well. Obviously, you're driving on either vacation or adding flying or some sort of passage. It could be train, could be, I don't know, boat.
Well, if you're driving, you pay gas.
Yeah.
But if you're flying, gosh, who knows what that would cost?
So I figured that you're going to lose a fair chunk of your average gas mileage on your tow vehicle once you're hitched up to something. I would figure you lose 7 miles per gallon, maybe in the ballpark of 7 to 10 miles per gallon. So you'll lose some efficiency there. I looked up gas prices today for the U.S., so we know that has a lot of variation depending on your locale. Right now, today, the average cost of gas is $3.44.6. No, 44. Yeah, whatever. 3.446 for regular, 3.886 for mid-grade, and 4.188 for premium. And diesel is $4.37 or 38 cents. This is from gasprices.aaa.com. So there's our gas prices. But when I factor it in, if I think about how far are we typically traveling? What do we want this example to be? 50 miles, 100 miles?
I would say 100 miles. Let's push it.
Okay, 100 miles. 100 miles and
but push it real good. This is what I'm going to contribute in this entire episode, just like sing when I think of a song.
So do you want to, and so we're doing that, so it's 200 miles because it's round trip. Right? Okay. Do you want to fill up with regular gas, mid-grade gas?
Let's do regular. Come on, let's just not be crazy.
Okay, so it's going to be $300 and let's say $350 one way.
$350 one way.
Right. So $700 in gas.
Okay. But if you fly 4 people somewhere, it's going to be $1,200 to $1,500.
We're doing this wrong because we haven't mentioned what our gas mileage is. So let's say we get 10 miles per gallon.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's just, because if you're in a truck, that's about where you'll be.
Okay. So it'll be 70, $80 for gas for this trip. Yeah, that was way off.
I was wondering how you got there, and then I thought, okay.
I got there badly because
he timed it just by 100.
Yeah, but then I was like, wait a second. We're not like getting 1 mile per gallon. $70 to $80 in gasoline.
It must be boring listening to a podcast where we're all sitting here trying to do math and talking numbers.
They didn't know it was boring until you told them.
They can also turn it off.
You can't call their attention to how boring it is. Now they're thinking about it. PJ.
Stop thinking about how boring it is. It's not boring.
Stop calling
it's
us out.
So fun.
Lindsay might sing again.
I definitely will sing again. The question is what?
Okay, so even if you're doing a hotel trip somewhere, you might be driving the same distance. So that's a wash, right?
Okay.
Except for you get a little bit better gas mileage.
So a hotel for 3 days is going to be what, $450, whereas a campsite's going to be $100,
$150. Yeah,
so you save $350.
Yeah, even with gas, we're sitting.
If you're cooking at the campsite,
this is key. So let's talk about food
or eating at restaurants.
Yeah,
huge. I tell you what, that was the hardest thing when we were trying to stay on a budget, and we were traveling with 3 kids.
Why didn't you leave like 1 or 2 at home?
They want to eat like a bunch of times every day.
Yeah, but they're okay with cheap food, aren't they?
Yeah, but kids? What's cheap? You know, McDonald's is $7-8 a kid.
There's 3 kids, right?
Not back when I was a kid.
Is 3 kids, right? You give one of them the top bun, one of them the meat, and one of them the bottom bun. You just rotate them.
There is no way. There is no way that back in the early 90s, it cost $8 to feed a kid at McDonald's.
Yeah, the dollar menu was like 75 cents.
Yes, but dollar menu always it didn't have kids food. They knew better than that. They wanted to give you the Happy Meal with the toy and the fries and the little chicken nugget things.
And the toy, yeah.
And so you got the whole thing.
Did you get that? Did you get that growing up, Lindsay?
I didn't get a lot of Happy Meals growing up.
You're one of those kids that she's speaking of.
No, but you ate at Jim's and had a lot of pancakes.
Ooh.
You know,
is Jim's regional? Because Jim's is a Texas thing, I think.
It's kind of a Denny's.
I feel like Jim's was...
It's better than Denny's. How dare you?
I know. It's dirtier than Denny's.
It is.
It's like the Waffle House of Denny's.
It is like the should have been gone a long time ago Denny's.
Yeah, but there's something about it. Just like Waffle Houses still stick around and there's something to them. There's something about Jim's, particularly in Texas. I think they started in San Antonio.
Didn't you meet Dad in a Jim's?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
There's some connection there.
But it's a bar that is now a Jim's.
No, the Jim's was next to the bar. So much going on here.
So the Jim's was where the hangovers went.
Yeah, exactly. It's where we go after we close the bar.
And carbs. Yeah. Coffee and carbs. I'm going to Jim's. I'm not going to Jim's.
So let's say we're not the 1990s and you've got 2 kids with you.
$10
so there's
a kid.
4 of you. You're going to spend $30 on a really cheap meal. If you spend $30 3 times, I mean, let's just round it with tips to $100. If you can feed 4 people for $100 a day, you are paying attention, cutting coupons, and skimping.
Yeah. So I have here from glampingorcamping.com. So that's a website. I thought it had some interesting stuff on it. And this is one of the things I pulled. They say, as a general idea, food will cost anywhere from $8 to $60 per day per person.
Whoa.
Wow.
$8 a day?
Range.
If you're really cheese and crackering it.
Is that formula for an infant? What is that?
No, that costs way more.
That's the high mercury tuna fish.
Is that like a loaf of bread and a small jar of peanut butter and then some jelly? And you eat that 3 times a day?
Sure. I mean, they don't tell me, but you could do it, right? You could sustain for a weekend trip that way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what we used to do on our road trips. And my dad would make all the sandwiches and then put them back in the sandwich bag.
Yes.
So it looked like a loaf of bread.
And then you can pull them out and it's ready. That's brilliant. I'm doing that.
I know.
They're a little bit soggy, but it's fine.
I hate to say he did that when we went to the movies too.
And look at you now. Look where you are today because of this planning.
Well, they had dollar shows back then, so it was a cheap way to entertain all of us. So what are we going to pick for food? Because I'm thinking when you're cooking, you can certainly do that for $30 a day for 4 people.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
30
to 50.
$30 per person?
No. For the group, for the family, I think, if you're cooking at the site.
Sure. But if you go to restaurants to eat, or if you're out, even if they have a free breakfast, you're probably going to spend around $100 a day. And that's if you're careful. Yeah. I think that's reasonable.
Easily. Oftentimes, whenever I go camping from here, because we'll oftentimes leave on a Friday after we do our Friday live stream. And so oftentimes we'll pick up dinner on the way down to where we're going. We typically average in the $30 to $40 range when I feed both my kids and my wife and me.
Right.
Don't always do that.
If you're really conservative and you drink water.
So absolutely. That's one meal versus what I could probably get away with for a whole day for the family.
Right.
And if I'm hotel camping, I'm pretty much relegated to buying more food. I mean, there may be a continental breakfast, but
you got to buy something somewhere because you can't
you can't stand in the lobby and keep making Texas shaped waffles and then hide them under your shirt and then take them back to your room and eat them all day long.
You probably
Is that
could.
what you're saying?
You probably
can't
could
do that.
But if you're driving to a hotel, you can still get away with bringing food like you would camping. I just don't see it happening as often as people talk about.
Well,
it.
let's just say you can eat a heck of a lot better and a heck of a lot cheaper if you're camping.
Yes, you're almost forced into it.
You are. So what else? Oh, I don't know. That's a whole nother discussion. When you're camping, some people think of it as a free pass and they take all the junk food.
Or they don't take any food. They just take liquefied barley.
I'm both of those people.
You know what? It's good to be understanding, and you have a way to really connect to people.
So what else is different between camping and taking a 4-day jaunt with your family? What else is different?
Oh, I got to think. There's other things that you consume whenever you're going camping, particularly if you're in an RV. Let's start with a very easy one. It doesn't cost that much, but it's something that you do consume, and it'll run out when you least expect it.
Toilet paper.
That too. Propane.
Okay.
Man, I thought I had that one.
Still related to gas. So I think that's like a jumping off point. That's something that's different.
Propane's kind of expensive, but even if you go through 2 tanks of propane, how much is that?
Since I have an Intech Discover and it has a huge bottle of propane and it only has a 2-burner stove and nothing else that uses it, it's been a long time since I've filled a propane bottle. What do we see out there? $30?
I have no idea.
Kaylin, we need information. What's a propane bottle cost now?
I feel like all good podcasts have like somebody on the side who can Google stuff for them.
Right. Someone smart enough to not get on camera.
Smart enough to use Google.
So probably $3 to $4.
Yeah.
Isn't it like $35, $40 for an exchange?
Probably.
At the convenience store.
20 to
Is that
60.
about right?
Wow, 20 to 60. That's a big range.
So we're going to say 40.
Okay.
Because we're in the middle.
Works for me.
So 40 for propane.
Is someone writing all this down?
No, we're recording it.
Oh.
We can't add and subtract in our head. Are you kidding? So you do have a little bit of propane, but that really is the only extraneous cost.
Okay. What about there's more maintenance involved, particularly if you have an RV situation.
Well, that means you just simply have to average it over the year. But do you count maintenance and then the cost of your RV? So
there's that too. There's that too. But we do financing all the time here. So on average, with all the people that sit across from the financing table here, what are you seeing as kind of an average payment per month?
Oh, gosh. I see everything from $195 all the way to $600.
Okay.
Probably an average payment
$270. 275
$250
to
$350.
Okay. That's about the same as a 3-night or 4-night stay at a hotel, but you have an RV.
Right.
So in that way, is that kind of a wash? Would we call that a wash if you at least use your RV?
For a long weekend once a month.
Yeah.
Then it's a wash. Absolutely. Then it's a total win because you actually have an RV.
But otherwise, if you don't go camping,
then it isn't.
In which case, if you don't go camping enough, I might suggest taking advantage of the, what do they call it? RV share type situation where you can basically rent out your RV.
Okay.
And have someone else pay you for it.
But let's what have we covered so far? We've covered travel.
Mm-hmm.
We've covered gas. Mm-hmm. We've covered food. And we now have covered
a little bit of maintenance, a little bit just ownership, cost of ownership.
Okay. A little propane. Yeah. Okay. The supplies. What else is there?
Insurance. You have another thing that you're insuring. Okay. Right? If it's got wheels and an axle, you don't necessarily have to insure it if it is a truck camper, correct?
No, you still need to insure it.
Okay.
People think you don't.
It's the I'm sorry. I'm thinking about registration.
Yes. You don't title it, but you still got to pay for insurance. So what else is there on the camping side?
I didn't really bring up the gear and all that because people, I mean, you don't just have nothing in your RV. I mean, you have your dishes, your cups, your travel chairs and things like that. So there's some gear involved, which you'll forever, if you're like me, be picking up new stuff to add to your kit. But that's durable goods. They do wear out slowly, but they're durable, lasting goods that you can have for years.
Well, plus you get to own stuff and you get to buy stuff, and everybody loves that, right?
Right.
Pick out more cool stuff and buy it.
Do you think people, when they travel hotel style versus RV style, are more or less likely to pick up keepsakes and memory type stuff, souvenirs? This is just a question. I have no idea where.
I don't know. I think samesies. I think so? There are keepsake people and not keepsake people.
Have you seen my new mug from my most recent camping trip?
And you are not one of those people, so that blows me away.
Yeah, but it's a good mug.
It is a good mug.
I like it. So anyways, go ahead. Hold on. We're going to talk over you so it can be funny. No. Go ahead.
What do you think is cheaper? If I do a last minute trip and run and throw everything in my trailer and go for a weekend, or if I plan it for like months and then go exact same spot for the same amount of time.
I think this is personality based.
Which one am I going to spend more money on?
PJ, what other side would you fall on?
I think you are obviously going to spend a little more money on an unplanned trip, probably because you're going to buy a little more food than you need to be sure you have everything. You may need to pick up some last minute things that are always going to be a little more expensive than if you'd brought it from home. But past that, I think it's all the same.
I feel like I would spend more money if I planned it.
Me too. Absolutely.
Really? Yes, because I'd be like, yes. I mean, it's like, look at all the people who come and pick up their trailers and they're like, oh, I've literally have a garage full of stuff because I've been waiting for this trailer. Right. So all I do is shop online and I'm finding this and finding storage solutions. And I feel like if I had a trip planned and I'd spend all this time like trying to figure out what I could buy to make things easier or better
or more fun. Or
the way that I camp, it's throw everything in the trailer and let's go. And then it's like whatever we don't have, like
then make do.
Oh, well.
You're camping.
Yeah, I think the longer it's on my schedule, the more I think of, well, what?
Different stuff that you absolutely need.
What was that thing last time that I wish I had? And I have time to find it now.
Yes. Quick trips, you don't have time. You're going to be wishing you had it again, but you won't have it.
Yeah, take advantage of that button, camp this weekend. You don't have time to spend extra money.
Boom, boom. That was just what I thought of when we came up with this podcast. So,
well, I think that if we're comparing, say, a 4-day weekend with a family of 4, and a 4-day camping trip, there's 2 things. First of all, if you drive somewhere or fly somewhere,
yes,
you're going to have obviously more costs. Wherever you stay, it is most likely going to be double or triple what your camping is. Getting there is going to cost either the same if you're driving, the same distance, or more if you're flying, right? So, and then eating out is huge. Yep. And those are all the things that people mention. We've mentioned a few other things that may add in, but the difference is maybe you are paying $300 a month for your camper every month, and maybe you are paying a little more maintenance along the way and a little more gear. It's still cheaper than a hotel room for 3 or 4 nights.
I agree.
And you own something. So there's the idea that not only do you own something, but you are having a different experience.
Right.
And that different experience is going to be available to you at a cheaper price, because that $350 or $400 a month that you're paying in your payment and your insurance, that's already in your budget, right?
That's right.
The rest of this is like, hey, do we want to spend a little money and go have an adventure? Sneak away for a couple days?
Sure.
It's super cheap when you run away, do an unplanned trip like Lindsay was talking about. Whereas if you do an unplanned trip and you decide, hey, let's fly to Chicago and have a long weekend and enjoy. Oh man, there is no good that comes from last minute planning on that.
To Chicago.
None.
Okay, so this kind of brings up the fact that the activities that you're likely to engage in while camping are vastly different for the most part. Now, you can still go to museums and all that, but if you're camping, you're a little bit more inclined to enjoy the outdoors. And hiking is pretty cheap for the most part.
Yeah,
fishing
can
be very cheap unless you actually keep buying fishing poles.
Yeah.
But
hobbies are healthy. Whole nother podcast.
You may already have a bicycle, whereas if you're hotel traveling, you're probably not just looking for those places to eat, but also those museums, those theater seats, the ball game, something like that.
Well, even if you do that, though, I guess when we're comparing costs, there's so much more to think about than just the money. There is no way that owning a camper, if you use it regularly, and we're talking every month or even every other month,
right?
Just for a long weekend
this
or
is
a weekend.
3, the two of you.
Yes,
month 3.
I know. Then it's definitely cheaper. But the best part about it when you're comparing costs is that you don't have to plan a thing. You can wake up that morning and say, I think I'd like to go somewhere this weekend. Yeah. And you can take off without incurring crazy costs and without really stepping outside your budget. That is the value to me. Yeah. Because you step outside your budget if you decide you want to drive and hang out in a city and get a hotel room. That's a chunk of change.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
this actually makes it another point. If you're not just going out for yourself camping, this makes it cheaper if you need to reconnect with someone. If they're in driving distance, this is a cheaper way to visit family and friends.
I don't know. I know our podcast took a little bit of a left. We were going to talk about numbers, but I just can't talk about costs without thinking about all the other values that go right along with it, because there's any way you slice it, it's cheaper.
Okay. By the dozen.
Yeah. Do you have a dozen camping trips planned?
No, but I will probably get there faster than the two of you.
He's got 2 more than us.
That's right.
And I do have 2 more already planned.
Well, Clint, you're inspiring.
I have kids who keep on bugging me about it, and I'm okay with entertaining it.
Good. It is a great way to entertain kids.
Yeah.
I really feel sorry for kids who don't get enough just run around the outdoors time.
My eldest, she's 7 years old, and I know she's camped way more than I have had by that age, because I don't think my father got his tent for Christmas as a present till I was maybe 8 or 9. So I didn't go camping at all in my life until I was maybe 8, 9, or 10. And my daughter has been how many times? My son has been how many times? I have no idea.
You're an awesome dad, Clint.
Nah.
Yeah, you are. It's awesome.
So, anywho, go yourself is good for you. Take your kids. It's good for them. Bring them back. That's also good for you. Take your dogs. They love it.
quit thinking about vacations as being like this big expensive thing, man.
Just
if you got a camper,
Man.
Yeah.
you can just take a couple of days, have an adventure, and it's not going to wreck your budget.
Right. And if you have a camper, keep reminders of your trips and your hopeful trips all around you. And I was talking to Caitlin. Caitlin, there you are. I was talking to Caitlin the other day. It's kind of like whenever when I was trying to learn to play guitar and stuff like that. If it was out of sight, out of mind, it was completely out of mind. And you never picked it up. Well, if you don't have your camper in front of your house because of an HOA situation or something like that, or you don't have reminders of the trips you've taken or the places you want to go around you, just bold-faced staring you in the face, you're not going to go enough.
So camping pictures on your refrigerator if you have to keep the camper away from your house. Is that what you're saying?
Can I just
Absolutely.
take a picture of my trailer and put it in a frame and put it on my desk?
Yeah. You could. I mean, I'd allow
Well,
it.
actually,
I'm not
Lindsay,
your boss.
I heard that we're going to use yours for
They already have
meetings. So yours is going to be front and center. You just need to go camping in it now.
They've already started using it.
We use campers for all kinds of things here at Princess Craft.
Meetings,
It
training.
works, yes.
Yeah, cool. Well,
Always
all right.
important.
Any other thoughts on the cost of RVing?
No, don't make me add any more numbers in my head. I'm struggling with that.
Yeah, I
It's
failed.
the end of the day.
I failed on that early in the podcast, so I'm not going to try again. I'm embarrassed.
All right.
I'm also not editing it out. Nope.
Well,
Lindsay, I feel it's high time you take us out.
Sing a song?
Yes, but about the heartland, the only place I feel at home. Sing about the way a good man works until the daylight's gone.
I don't know that song.
Sing the rain on the roof on a summer night where there ain't no wrong from right. Sing a song about the heartland. Sing a song about my life.
Thank you for joining us, the RV Small Talk Podcast. It's been a blast, and it didn't cost you a dang thing. If you want to hear other episodes, go to rvsmalltalk.com. You can find us on Facebook at RV Small Talk Podcast.
Podpass.
And RV Small Talk Community, where we love to see your camping pictures, your camping budget, ideas for new episodes, anything you want to throw at us or the group.
If you're a monkey, don't throw anything, please.
oh goodness. I bet there's people out there that have budgets that they've made with all these details in it.
You know what they
I would
are?
love to see that.
They're Lance owners and they're truck campers.
They're Lance owners.
It's
true,
I don't
they are.
know. I think some of these tiny trailer people are amazing.
Yeah.
I bet they have a magnificent, detailed budget.
Glorious.
Yes. Teach us a few things. I'd love to see the budgets.
Learn me a thing or two.
Speaking of tiny trailers, the Texas Tiny Trailer Rally is coming up. So if you haven't signed up yet, it is a free rally in Bandera from April 27th to April
Whatever
30th.
the next Sunday
April
is.
27th to April 30th in Bandera. So look it up, Texas Tiny Trailer Rally on Facebook and join us.
just
It'll be
call
super
Lindsay.
fun. And then our truck camper rally is the weekend after that. So if you have a truck camper, join us for that.
Cool.
That's all I got. I can't even think of a song to take us out.
That's all good. I'll go ahead.
Is it all good?
No, but I'll cry myself through it. Everybody, thank you for joining us for this episode of the RV Small Talk Podcast, and we will see you next time.
Wait,
No?
how many dogs are in a dog sled competition team?
Kaylin?
Solo sleighs are 4 to 6, and family sleighs are
4 to 6 or 8 to 12.
Depending on if it's a solo or a family.
I want my fan band there.
The more you know.
There you go.